Okay, take two. I just drew all of this for you and explained what I was doing as I was drawing it, and for some reason the camera stopped. So we'll start over. Pretend you didn't see this. I'm building these constructions with trucks and cranes and bulldozers and making scenery, and I thought, what is the most famous for this show called Construction Destruction? And I said to myself, self, what is the most famous, infamous, most well-known thing that was constructed and then destructed? And of course, it's the Tower of Babel. And it's been illustrated by many people in the past, and it's my turn. It's my turn to do it. And here's my plan. I'm going to build a triangular, tall triangular, 6 foot tall-ish pyramid that is in plan. It is a triangle as well. And it's going to be spiral going up like that. And it's going to get closer and closer as it goes to the top. Big stripe here, white stripe, black stripe, white stripe, and these are going to get thinner and more close together as it goes up. So I have to do the math to figure that out, what angle this line has to be, which is what I'm going to do shortly, is try to figure that out. I know that there's probably some mathematical way to do it, but I have to learn it all by myself through trial and error. The objects on this construction will be made of black and white people, black and white tractors, and they're going to be not all black and not all white. They'll be black and white, and then they'll be black and white on this level as well. So you're going to see a pattern of light on dark and dark on light, and it's going to be sort of this mush of shapes, and sort of all blend together as the workers were blending together to make this tower to the heavens. And at the top, suspended above it, is going to be a cloud with a lightning bolt coming out of it. Yellow lightning bolt, or 2 or 3 coming out, probably at least 3. Because the lightning bolts will have wire in them to actually suspend this thing above it, because it's going to be 3-dimensional, and I don't want this touching the top. I want this just to be, I suppose it could be touching the top, but anyway, so that's going to be here. What this is, if it's going to be a cube, or whether it's going to be a dodecahedron, or whether it's going to be some sort of rhomboid, 3-dimensional rhomboid shape, I don't know. But it will be gray in color, grays of various shades, and then yellow coming out and causing all of the people to fly off. And this is where the fun will be, because each of these little people that are flying off are going to be in color. And they're going to be made with little, hold on. So here's what the tractors will look like, and the things that are using to build this thing. And having builded it, I like how the Bible decides they're going to conjugate their verbs their own way. Builded it, so these are going to be going up, and some will be against white and some will be against black. So you're going to have to do a little bit of the deciphering of this thing in your own brain as you look at it and try to figure it out. And the things will get a little smaller as we go up to the top. And we'll have little people that are black and white and white and black, and they're all going to be, building this thing as it goes up to the apex. And then we're going to have the lightning hit, and then people of color made of different fonts. These 3 or 4, 5, all these were made of one box with sort of a Roman lettering, italic Roman lettering. This was made of sort of a chancery script kind of lettering. It's blue and gold and white. And I think I have some more that I made using that. If not, I have to find them and make more. These were made of sort of a Germanic script with sort of double lines and a drop shadow. So these will be flying off that way. So they're all going to be sort of exploding and going off in their own direction. And they're all going to be in color. I don't think I'm going to have any black and white ones. So they'll represent the different languages that will confound the world forever. Because the reason that God did this, there were 2 main reasons. There might have been more. It's not really explained in the Old Testament as well as it is when they try to figure out how to describe the Old Testament in the New Testament. So Revelations, whoever wrote that on their acid trip or whatever they were, LSD that they were consuming and writing that nonsense, they were coming up with other reasons that this blew up and why God was unhappy. Well, God of the Old Testament was a fickle creature and perfect. He's perfect person. He, made this man in his own image, and then he realized after he made man, here's Adam. Hi. Make him. There's Adam with his little winky hanging out. And so God and Adam were happy. God was happy anyway. But turned out Adam was heterosexual, which was not in God's plan, I don't think, originally. Otherwise, if God was heterosexual, he would have, if you were God and you were heterosexual, what would you make? You'd make a dame, right? Well, not the God in the Old Testament. He decided to make a man, a naked man. So he made a naked man, but the man he made happened to be heterosexual, so he wasn't interested in looking at God. So he had to I got to make some dame. So he took the rib and he made a, booby thing here, and then, so he's got this perfect creature with this other perfect creature, and what were they supposed to do? They were supposed to fornicate. They were supposed to make more of them and fill the entire world with more of these creatures. And some of these creatures decided that they were going to build a tower. I'm tired of this fornication stuff. I want to do other things. So they started to build this tower, and God thought, well, I want you to be fucking. I didn't make you to build a tower. You're supposed to be filling the earth with more of you. For some reason, I don't know why God seemed to think that that was important. So he didn't like that. And the idea that they were building something to the heavens implies a sort of pride, perhaps, or God saw it as threatening to his dominion over this universe that he made. So he decided to throw a couple of lightning bolts out, and he made all of these people scatter and speak different languages so they could never get together to build this thing again. Am I doing this theologically correct? I know that some of my language might be a little bit raw for some of you other theologians out there, but I think I'm getting the story right. They were supposed to be continually having sex and making more of them. They were supposed to be bunnies, evidently. So anyway, this is my plan. So what I have to do now is figure out, what I'm going to do is, here's my plan, is I'm going to take 3 pieces of identical cardboard, and which will eventually be connected. This side will be connected to that side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with the pattern for the striping. So if I start here and go up to there, and then continue that line, that angle will be the same. Go up to there, and then go up to there for the first one, then that has to match up with this one, right? And then it will continue, except it has to be slightly different angles, so they get smaller as they go up. Now I can fudge this a bit, because I can, as it's being builded, I can, it doesn't have to be a straight line. It can be, they can be adding bricks to this thing and, stuff like that. So there's going to be a little bit of wiggle room in my creation. So I think I'm going to eyeball it. I know that there's probably a way to get out my slide rule in my drafting sets and to do it correctly. But I think if I just take a single square like this and sort of draw this out, and then just make sure that this distance the second level would be to there, if it goes up at that angle, right? And then the third one would be to here. So I guess that has to be to there. So it'll work. I have to do the math on this and I'll do it using a piece of cardboard that I'll score, and I'll just try it out, and if it works close enough, I'll go with that. Because doing things with a lot of care and exactitude puts me in a little box, and I have to follow that, or I feel I have to follow that all the way through. And I want this to be fun. I don't want this to be a chore. So that's my plan for the building of this next piece. Now, can I do all of this today? Probably not. I might be able to do this today, and maybe do this today, decide maybe I'll make this a dodecahedron. Wasn't that supposed to be some sort of special shape that only God was supposed to, when mathematicians figured out that there was such a thing as a 12-sided solid, that was special. I'll have to read up on that. that can represent this fickle God. And so that's the plan. Maybe I can do this, and then I can, every day that I do more of these little, where did they go? More of these little things, I can bring them down and put them on the right level. And that way I can just continue to play. So this is supposed to be a car, a sports car. Now, you don't see it as a sports car here, but I think if you saw it with other ones, and they're doing the same, they're sort of racing each other. Here's another one. See, this looks more like a car. It's sort of like a, what do they call those three-wheeled cars that they have in England? Morris. Anyway, I thought that might be fun. I like Saul. I didn't even notice that till now. And there's the sun. So look at that. Wasn't I clever? And I didn't even realize I was doing that. So these are going to be the people that are going to be building this thing. And they will then be lightning bolted and turn into color and different fonts representing the different languages of this piece of art that I'm going to make now. What do you think? What do you think of my theology? Where did I go? Here we are again. Adam is a homosexual man. Is a heterosexual, even though God wanted him to be a homosexual. And I think that makes as much sense as the virgin birth. Or the Immaculate Conception. In fact, I think that makes more logical sense than the virgin birth. What do you think? Write your answers below. Bye.